Hello everyone and welcome to our Minecraft Sever Spotlight. Today we're going to take you on an adventure to the Watershed, and we're very lucky to have Grand River taking us around and giving us an exclusive interview at the same time. So sit back and relax and just enjoy, guys. Thanks for watching. Thank you very much, Grand River, Warren, for accepting to do this interview with me. As I said, I found your server listening to the Shaft podcast, and I came on with one of my colleagues and we had a little walk around, and what you have here is just amazing. I mean, it is huge. It is nothing like what I expected when I first came on. Now, I haven't done tons of multiplayer servers on Minecraft, but this is pretty special. Where did you start?
Oh my, that is the longest story. Where to begin? Uh, we started off, it's going on almost 2 years ago. Um, One of our admins, Mike Coder, uh, he was a member of my corporation in EVE Online,
Okay.
and he kind of was playing Minecraft, and he would always message us and say, "Oh, I'm playing Minecraft. I'm busy." And we're always like, "What's this Minecraft?" Right? So he got me and pretty much everyone else hooked on Minecraft, and it wasn't long after that we started our own server. And this is actually our third or fourth map.
Ah, okay. So this
Yeah,
isn't like
so
the first time.
we've really been through some history here.
So I'm assuming the first server you ever did was nothing quite like this.
No, not at all. The first server we were completely green. The first server we had, I think it was a 1 GB server, and it was through one of many hosting
Hmm.
providers out there that do Minecraft servers. And it was just us booting around, kind of survival, figuring things out, trial and error, and built our first cobblestone and dirt houses there, of course. And
Like we all do.
yeah, so that eventually evolved into, okay, so we've built all our dirt houses and cobblestone castles. Now what? And we kind of wanted to open things up to the public. So then we just kind of eventually slowly get into opening things up to the public. And it's like, well, first we just let people in to look around. We weren't really heavy into using server mods at the time, so it was basically just you have the group where you can build and you can have the group where you don't build, and it kind of progressed from there. Okay, so what happens when we get more people on? Well, we need a mod that can kind of control where people can and can't build,
Yeah.
and it just gradually progressed through there. And as Minecraft has evolved, the terrain generators changed and new features have come out. It's like, well, then we want all those new features in the world, so then we dump the map and start again. And this, I'm hoping, is going to be our permanent map. Um, when the large biomes generator was introduced in 1.3, is it? Back in,
That rings a bell. I think it was
yeah,
1.3. That
yeah,
kind of time, wasn't it?
July or August
Yeah.
last year, I think it was, and it's like, wow, this is perfect, because we like to do things on a really big scale, and nothing's worse than you're building a really big project and half of it's in a snowy biome and half of it's in a desert biome, and it doesn't really work out. So the large biomes really gave us the opportunity to set up the world how we wanted it on a really big scale. Set up our towns so you could have these really large biomes and more realistic landscapes.
Yeah, because I mean, when you kind of first log on to the server, obviously the first thing you are pointed towards is, I believe, you'll come out here.
Yeah, that's
And
correct.
and you just see this huge hot air balloon right in front of you, and that is the first thing that grabbed me. I was like, "What? Like what that?" And then you start seeing these huge signs. And everything just starts to think, this is nothing like I've seen before. You know, used to be you play Minecraft, you do what you said, you make a cobblestone house, you make a furnace, you kill some pigs, cook some beef, well, cook some pork, and, you know, you go off on adventuring. And in here, this is like a brand new adventure created from Minecraft. And what about this
Can't
cemetery?
take credit for that idea, really. I was on another server a long time ago. It was a German server, and I can't remember what it was, but they had a very, very similar setup, and I said, "Oh, this is a great idea.
It
This
was
is this is
brilliant.
amazing. We'll do this." And then it serves as a warning, and at the same time, it's decorative.
Yeah, no, agreed. I mean, it's a brilliant part, and it's put in a fantastic location. So it's obviously when you come into the server, you've had a look around, and the player decides, okay, now I want to, you know, become a citizen of the Watershed. You actually have to walk past the cemetery to get to the citizenship's office, and it is a bit of a warning because it was a bit like, what's this? And it's like, oh, this is
Hint, hint, hint.
this is where you end if you're not a good boy.
Yeah.
But I know I thought it was a brilliant touch, an absolutely brilliant touch. So this is the Stargate. So this is how you get to the three of the different areas of, or three further areas of the watershed, to how I believe it.
Yeah, so this is the Stargate wing of the transport hub in Spawntown. And this whole blue covered building here is the transport hub. And on the other side, we have portals to the other worlds.
Okay.
And then down the way is actually a railway station hub. And then in this end is the Stargates. And in our overworld, which is where Spawntown and most of the other stuff is, we have three networks. We have the Capital Region Network, which is basically as we develop the different areas of Watershed City, we're going to link them together on this network, the Overworld Town Network. This actually the player towns together. So what happens when a player founds a town is one of the admins or myself or Kane will go to the town and we will install a Stargate at no cost, and that provides them direct access to everyone else
Yep.
as well as Spawn Town. And if people want their towns private, what they typically do is they will put their personal Stargate in a locked room.
Ah. Okay. I mean, that's a good idea.
Yeah. And then in this network over here, we have the Wilderness Network. And what it is for is it provides a fast travel option to the majority of the overworld. We have approximately 30 gates around the wilderness that allows people to quickly get out there, find resources, start building, and find a location to found a town if they want to start their own town.
Yep.
Because our world is absolutely enormous. It's 50 kilometers by 50 kilometers in size. It's 2,500 square kilometers. And it's all pre-generated. All the chunks already exist. So to require people to walk out to the wilderness from Spawn Town just really isn't a viable option.
It's not going to quite work.
No, and at the same time, we want to kind of spread people out too. We don't want just people. Okay, finally, I got walked out of Spawn Town, and then it's 1,000 blocks away or whatever, and then everyone's clustered in one area. So this allows us to spread people out a little more, take advantage of that space we have.
And how about that Spleef Museum? Where'd that come from? Where'd it even start?
Now this is going back to our
Sorry.
very first map.
Oh, sorry. I'll follow you.
So yeah. Oh my, can I even remember how long it took? We have World Edit, so
Okay.
it made the process a lot quicker. But at the same time, World Edit doesn't really give you the ability to do too much detail work. Like it's big terrain generation commands that are happening. So that we made the basic shape, And it's like, okay, so Spleef sounds like a really cool idea, and this was back almost 2 years ago when Minecraft was still in beta.
Yep.
So let's build a Spleef stadium. So we created this stadium, and if I had to guess, I'd say it took us maybe a couple weeks.
That's pretty impressive. Because there's a
Yeah.
lot of detail in there. Detail that you much wouldn't see. And one very, I mean, I don't know if you can say you are the only one to have it, but you have a retractable roof. Is that unique?
So far, I have not seen another one. There's actually kind of an interesting story behind this. Uh, our server uses Bucket, which is probably one of the most popular server platforms out there right now.
Okay.
And most of the Bucket team is now working for, or the previous Bucket team. I'm not sure how exactly their setup works, but the people who started Bucket are now mostly working for Mojang. So you got Evil Seth and Dinnerbone
Yep.
and Grum. They were from Bucket. And we use that platform, and we use server mods coded to that. And the retractable roof is actually a server mod that allows people to make retractable bridges. This is just on a very much larger scale.
Yeah, because it's.
So
I get it. This obviously looks very different with the roof off.
yeah, and it's so big that it does tend to cause some server lag when it's in operation, but it is just so cool. I don't think we'll ever change it as long as the mod that operates it, and it is called Retractable Bridge, and it is available off the Bucket site. As long as it remains updated, we're always going to keep it. And the mod again just lets people build retractable bridges in their own towns, etc. Anyway, so no sense not to. But the retractable roof actually managed to get us third place on Minecraft Top 5 Stadiums back in September 2011.
Wow.
Yeah, there was a episode coming up, and Nero mentioned, "Oh, next week's episode of Minecraft Top 5 by Sunday is going to be stadiums." It's like we should submit ours. And it's like, well, okay,
Why not? Let's give it a
yeah,
go.
yeah. So sent off the information. I said, "Well, here's our Spleef Stadium," and well, I was at work the one day, and Sunday logged into the server, and he filmed it, and so we took third place, and that's on YouTube. And there's actually a link on our website to the back to the video, and it was all the comments about our stadium are either "What is Spleef?" which means they haven't played Minecraft too long to me.
They're a bit
And-
new.
Yeah, and the other thing is always comment, "How did he get the roof to open? How did he get?" It's just tons and tons of comments. Maybe people just don't realize that it's actually a working chessboard. So we got this gaming center, or is it all just kind of for show? No, it functions. So maybe people don't realize that, or I don't know.
I think you could be onto something because even when I saw it and it said chess, I was like, yeah, okay, all right. I've heard these kind of things before. I thought, they've mostly got like a few chess pieces on a board. It doesn't move. It's just for kind of like a show. But when we actually came in here and then we saw the board down there, which I will come down. Oh, don't fall down yet.
Actually, if you want to stay up there momentarily, I'll start a game up, and people
Oh,
can
yeah.
actually
That'd be a brilliant idea. Let me get back up.
they can actually see the board in operation. So when the board is idle and there's no game in progress, you see the board, and we built this stadium around it. The chess plugin actually pre-generates the board, and then we built this grandstand around it. So when people are down here at the board, they create a game, and then automatically all the pieces go out onto the board. and then you can either invite players to play with you, or you can actually play against the AI. And the AI can be quite challenging, and I don't know how they got that in there. But yeah, it's absolutely amazing. So
It is a
so
crazy. I mean, you look at it, and it's one of the things. This, I mean, there's certain things on your server which remind me of. Do you remember when Little Big Planet came out originally? And that had
um
obviously had tons of kind of make your own level stuff.
uh I never actually played it. That's the one you're making little characters, right? Right?
Yeah, so you can
Yeah.
make like your own kind of platforming game was the whole idea of it.
Okay, yeah, so I've seen the game, but never don't really know too much about it.
Well, I mean, it literally is. People can go in there, they can make their own kind of platform game and create the levels exactly how they want to. But some guy, a very clever guy, went ahead and created a calculator using ropes and levers.
Oh, wow.
And it was like, what? And this was the exact same feeling I had when I saw you can play chess in Minecraft. It was like, that's just not possible. But it is. It's like, what? And it works really well.
Yeah, indeed.
I'll just put them on there. I'll add them into the video. There you go. Bit of jumping action. Nice. To the survival games. Hmm.
Yeah, so we have 5 survival games arenas available on the server, and these were all the really big popular ones by Verida and his team of builders over there. So we're one of many hosts of these arenas, but we host the 5 arenas that they have created so far. Your items and such are saved and then stored on the server elsewhere. So when you actually join, you're starting from scratch. And then when you die, you get all that stuff returned when you get teleported back to the lobby.
And that is actually a very helpful thing. So I was going to say, if I did join this and had loads of items in my inventory, am I going to be extremely disappointed?
And this is another feature from one of our actually I think our previous map, the one immediately preceding this. A lot of the stuff we've built is imported from our old world. Granted, there's certain things you can't import, like a new spawn town.
Yep.
We like to make sure that when we build stuff, it's built with the terrain and the land features. So there's always going to be stuff that are always going to be unique to every map.
I mean, let's have a little walk to the marketplace, because I mean, the marketplace on its own, again, is a marvel to be seen. So this is
Yeah,
obviously part of the economy. So let's say you don't want to go out and you don't want to have to go mining for all this stuff. Instead, if you've got the money, you can actually just buy it.
yeah, and on our old map, we actually had a shop, and we called it Craft Mart, and it was kind of a take off of Walmart. It was a one-stop shop for
Everything.
everything. But when we started this map with the large biomes, it's like we got to take advantage of this space. So what we did is we broke down having one big shop with everything into categorized shops that sell different stuff.
Yeah.
So we have this whole marketplace down here on the shoreline. So the water out there is what we call Freeport Bay. Yes, we've named it. Uh, and then all along the shore we have the shop that kind of ring the south end of the spawn area. And like the spawn area is the central circle, and then there's the 4 quadrants off that.
And obviously, so I mean, one thing that's quite interesting that this marketplace isn't, it's not actually here just for like the server's economy as such. It's actually also for players. So some of these shops, from my understanding, are actually created by the players themselves.
Yeah, so we have the main marketplace area, and what we've specifically and purposefully done is all the prices in the server shops. To be able to buy items, it's actually quite expensive.
Yes.
Uh, People go, oh, well, the price of this in the shop is ridiculous. And it's like, well, the marketplace is there for um, people's convenience. And what that does is by having the server price really high to buy stuff and kind of really low to sell stuff, is it encourages people to set up their own shops.
Yep.
And they can either do that in their own town, or at the far end of the marketplace here, we can actually give people a plot, and they can actually build their own shop in the marketplace, in the flea market here.
So this part of the marketplace is the flea market. So this is where players can come and set up shop.
Yeah, so like we were mentioning earlier, the server has Townie on, and it breaks everything down on the world into the 16 by 16 chunks of Minecraft. So what people can do is they can come to the flea market here, and they can just request a plot, and then I set the plot up into something that people could claim. So to initially claim a plot in another town, you set it up as an embassy. They claim the plot, then I turn it into a shop, and then they can build on this plot just like any other plot that they own in their own town. So they can build their own shop of pretty much any shape and size. And like some of the shops here are really, really intricate. Like we have this is Farlap's shop over here. It has a big giant windmill on top, and this is kind of themed after his town. So it kind of acts as an embassy in its own right. So if you want to come see what people their build styles are, and if you want to join a town that's open, you can come here, and there's some pretty good examples right here.
Yeah, and I think it's a great idea letting the shop owner actually create his own shop. You know, so you're not kind of just given a predefined kind of bulk shop, but giving them that freedom. You know, shops do really stand out. I mean, that windmill is just so unique. I mean, it looks brilliant.
Yeah, and really the only safeguard we've had to take is on the shops, on the plots, we have a bedrock layer. And all that does is prevent people from, okay, you've bought your shop plot. It prevents people from mining out the spawn town underneath.
An underground cave system that you guys wouldn't find.
Yeah.
And yeah, because obviously I'm assuming that obviously the bedrock is, you know, unbreakable, so the bedrock will always stay there.
Yeah, so all we've done is we've used creative mode and world edit to place
Yeah.
this bedrock layer, just so people don't go mining out the spawn town for their own stuff.
I, but I have to admit, a cave system does sound kind of cool. Because you do a lot of events, and that's like the last point I really want to ask you about is events in the Watershed. So this isn't just a server you can come on. I've seen that you do hold events, like special themes and special kind of areas.
Yeah, and it's something that we're kind of new in getting into, but it's always been one of our goals. So, for example, Kane recently was on the server, and he had kind of a zombie apocalypse for New Year's, and picked random areas to spawn a bunch of zombies at and have people go at it. But at the same time, we have the end, which we can reset without restarting the server. So if people want to go slay the dragon, we can open the end up for an event. We can have spleef tournaments if we need to do that. We do live streaming, so we'll announce when we're on a live stream, and then we might throw a party in someone's town. And the other thing we want to get into eventually for more of the roleplay element is questing. And if a player looks at our dynamic map, They see the spawn town is just part of this one really large area that we call Watershed City, and it's clearly marked on the map. And each one of those districts around the spawn town, what we're doing is we're developing each area into a themed area with a specific theme. So, for example, the Greenwater district, that's going to be like a jungle district with towns that are built into trees and such. We have the area we call New Tokyo, which is an area that, if anyone's familiar with RP Gamer 99, he is one of the moderators from the Shaft live stream. And what he's doing is he's building like a Japanese themed district over there. And then north of Spawn Town, we have what we call Downtown, which is a big hollowed out area that we were building really tall skyscrapers in like a central business district area. So there's all these different areas that are going to come together, and as each one gets developed, we're going to start looking at how we can offer player storyline quests and stuff to people.
I mean, that's going to be no easy feat. I mean, it sounds a great idea. I mean, that really, I would say, as most really the last element to the server is playable quests to maybe earn rewards and items and stuff like that. And that really would add that last element of really getting, really just having everything anyone most probably could kind of think of available for players just to come on and play.
Yeah, and that's something we've tried to do. It's like, while we stick to trying to offer people the vanilla Minecraft wherever possible, there's all these other popular server features that are available. Like, for example, you have these servers that are dedicated strictly to survival or strictly to creative, or
Yeah.
it's strictly a survival game server. It's
Yes.
like we've tried to combine as many of these elements as possible into like a one stop place that people can they can come and say, oh, well, I'm sick of survival. One day we'll go play the survival games for a bit, and that it kind of mixes things up and keeps people coming back.
And I think you really have created that. I mean, there's so much to do on here that I can't see people really kind of getting kind of bored for a long time to come. There's so much to experience, even if it's just to walk around and just see what, this server has to offer. And I'd recommend everyone who who does listen or watches this, come on and have a look around. I mean, the people that I've encountered on here have all been really friendly. I've asked questions, they've always answered, they've never had any problems with answering. And just to walk around and see this place is an experience on its own, because there are so many different unique structures that I've never seen before. So, just from a viewpoint, it's like, wow. And then to think, that's not it. There is so much more this server has to offer.
Yeah, and one thing I do want to mention is that, with the exception of maybe one or two builds, everything on our server is stuff that we have built. We have built all the stadiums, we have built all the skyscrapers. I think there's only a couple things on the server that were schematics from somewhere else. But otherwise, everything is unique. A sticking point for me, and people say I have MC OCD. The attention to detail. I think the term. I think I first heard the term. One of the guests on the Shaft recently said it. It's like, you don't have OCD in Minecraft. You have MC OCD, because it's only in-game OCD. And the attention to detail is something that I really, really, really stick to in Spawn Town, because you go to some servers and although their spawn area looks nice, it's very desolate.
Yeah.
This is just personal observation. You go to a server and you spawn, and everywhere for 1,000 blocks around, everything's already been mined away. There isn't a single piece of plant life left, and no one is replanted. And even if I take our spawn town and strip all the trees away, it would kind of do the same thing, right? So just by putting the vegetation, the greenery, provide that randomness and natural looking feel, I think has really enhanced what we have here.
And I think it's key because it's key to make it look, or it's key to have a theme. I mean, that's what, this spawn world, the spawn town does very well, is it is all themed with the 4 different sections that all have their own slight kind of take of what's inside there. So, yeah. Well, I think we've come to the end of the interview. Fingers crossed it's also existed with a couple of technical difficulties that I always seem to have. I need to get better at this. But thanks for your time, Warren. I mean, it's been really interesting to listen to, where it came from, where you started, and just get some insider knowledge on some of the different stadiums you've got here and how the flea market works.
Yeah, and in all this time, we've really only scratched the surface, and it, I don't know. I'm maybe it sounds like I got a bit of an ego, but I'm very, very proud of what we've built here, and I really do have to thank all the other server staff, because running a server of this caliber is not a one-man job. And I know I didn't mention everyone's names, but like all the administrators, all the moderators, and Kane, the other operator, this is not a one-man operation. Is there ever any trouble, like there has to be other people involved to keep this going 24/7, because you can't do it alone.
And I think that the whole team for the Watershed should be very proud of themselves. So where can they find you on Twitter? What's the best place to follow on Twitter?
Twitter, it is MC the Watershed, all one word.
Fantastic.
At MC the Watershed.
Okay, and is there a Facebook?
Yeah, Facebook is the same. It's facebook.com/MC the Watershed.
YouTube?
YouTube is youtube.com/Grand River Watershed in one word.
And most probably, one of the most important, your website. So where people find that?
The website is mc-thewatershed.net. And they can just plug that right on their web browser and goes to our homepage.
Fantastic. And I'll make sure that if everyone who's watching this will include all the links on the actual video itself, so you can just click and get all the news and updates from the Watershed as it happens from the guys who are actually running this. And if you do get a chance, and I implore you to find time, come onto this server and just find out how great it really, really is.